All right, Founder Jam 20. We are back after a short hiatus. I was out of town on my favorite trip every summer. Sometimes we take it and we don't even know what to expect. When we come back, we're fired up, we're excited. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it last year because of the pandemic, but Spoke Folk happened this year. If you want to check out more about Spoke Folk, just go to spokefolk.org. Got to get my plug in for my favorite ministry organization. Joe is in Las Vegas today. He should be jumping on here in just a moment. We are squeezing in Founder Jam, to say the least, amongst all of our travels. I am back in the lab, excited to be back here, fired up after my trip, and I got the energy to bring it. Joe, I'm sure, has the same, even though he's stuck in Las Vegas right now. Stuck in Las Vegas. How can you be stuck in Las Vegas? My man's got all kinds of great business trips. I would die to have a business trip to Las Vegas. I've actually never been there. But anyway, today we are talking about the customer experience and how important is a customer experience to your business. And do you create an experience, or does it just kind of happen? Or maybe you stage an experience if you want to talk about the experience economy. So once we bring Joe on here, we are going to dive into the questions, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll have a unique version of rapid fire later in the broadcast. So Founder Jam 20 has begun. Hard to believe, 20. How could we be in double digits already on Founder Jam 20? It's kind of cool to think about it. And we will jump back into some pretty cool content as soon as Joe gets on the broadcast. So if you talk about customer experience, what are the things that your customers like about doing business with you? Is it just the product or the service, or do they actually enjoy the experience? Are the things that they sign up for more than just a specific product? If you sell merchandise, do they enjoy the process of shopping and choosing which type of merchandise best fits them? Or do they enjoy the process of learning about the type of merchandise that you provide? Do they learn about how the clothing that they get from you can help them in their athletic performance, or maybe just in their image, in their business attire? Or do they just want to buy the stuff? And I'm not saying that buying the stuff is a terrible idea. That's why they're ultimately going to do business with you. But if you can create an experience, that will put you a step above the competition. And that's what we're all about here at Founder Jam, finding the ways that we can make the best impact in our business and be a step above the competition. Now, where is my man Joe? What is he doing out there in Las Vegas? Did he get distracted by the casino or something? Oh, there he is. There he is, setting up. He must be in the cafe at a really nice hotel. Let's get him on the stream here. Before you, let's make sure your camera's set up there, buddy. Give me a thumbs up when you want to join the show. There he is. What's up, my man?
I can see you. I got nothing. Let me try it one more time. I got nothing. You look nice and tan, man.
I did.
This guy's nice and
I
tan.
am nice and tan. I was biking around South Dakota in 95-degree weather for a week.
Test. Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
How about now?
I hear you fine.
Hello?
Yep, I'm here. This is what it's like on live broadcast here. This is live television. So we have technical difficulties. The customer experience on StreamYard.
How is that possible?
I don't know, man. Oh, we lost him. Okay, he's totally out. He's totally gone. We might have to start going to some questions just to start, because technology is killing us today. So when we talk about the customer experience, there's a couple of questions that we thought would be super important to dive into today. And I think the first one will get you really thinking about how it is that you treat your people that you work with. Not only the people that buy your product or service, but the people that provide the product or service. In other words, your employees. All right. Joe, my man, are you there? I don't think he can hear me.
Bad customer experience with StreamYard.
Yes, the bad customer experience in StreamYard.
It's terrible.
Can you hear me or what? You're in and out, man. All right. So the first question about customer experience is, what would your customers say about you without you in the room? What would your customers say about you without you in the room? And the first thing I thought about with this question was, why do people ultimately engage with you? And I think if it's going back to what I was saying a moment earlier, if it's actually about solely the product or service, that's great. And if you're the best of the best and your prices are on point, I'm sure you'll do well. But ultimately, if your customers will talk about you in a positive way, essentially behind your back or without you involved, then maybe, just maybe, you're a step above. If they say behind your back that he kind of barely gets the job done, or I really like their service, but I don't know anything about them. I don't like how I'm treated. I don't feel special. Then maybe you need something to change. Joe, are you there now?
My customers would say they love me because I make them a lot of money with digital media. That's what they would say.
That's all they would say.
And they'd say he's a sharp dresser and he's got some really cool Joe No Marketing corporate swag.
Nice. So they get some nice swag from you.
You have to butter them up. You have to butter them up once or twice a year, you know.
You do. You definitely have to butter them up. But would they say that you're a nice guy?
50-50. See, it's all about honesty, right? We promise our audience honesty all the time. 50-50.
So they would say that you're honest.
Oh, definitely honest. Yes, that above all else, absolutely, definitely honest, guys.
Nice. Well, I think
that's part of our promised customer experience, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes here.
So I know there was a guy. So there's a guy that I used to work with at my other employer, and everything that he did outside of the work that he did in the financial space was about his family. And I thought that was very, very interesting, because whenever we would work together on different projects or different situations, and we would speak with the clients, they would always ask about how his family is. And in fact, sometimes he wouldn't even be there, and I would be handling something, and they would ask me how his family is. And I always thought that was really interesting. And I noticed that the people who would ask that question were always family type people that were very close with their loved ones and their kids and so I don't think he was doing it on purpose, but he kind of created this brand for himself that he was like the family guy. And it really worked well. It developed a relationship, and it attracted people like that. So I'm not saying it was good or bad, but I can tell there was definitely an effect on his business, on the way he infused the family aspect in everything that he did.
Well, maybe if we take a step back on that in a way, whether purposeful or not, he's tapping into something that a lot of people can relate to, right? It's a very common thread around family. I think there's different customers, different people relate to different things, and it depends on the environment, so I'm here at a resort, so you go into a store, there might be a little bit different rapport versus a major technology account, right, where you're really trying to get to know people that you'll have to work with over time. So I think there are some differences, but in a way it was smart. I think top salespeople and account managers, they'll always try to relate to you. I know I've been around some of these pros at Oracle and Salesforce. I mean, they keep strict notes on everything going on with you. If what's going on with your family, where you like to travel, what TV shows you watch, what movies what restaurants.
Wow.
I mean, it's very, very prescriptive. So that's kind of like on the flip side of this question. But I know we get a lot of account managers and salespeople always ping us each week. That's the job, right? Is almost, and it's not necessarily fake or manufactured, but I think the good ones do care. The good account people, salespeople, do care about their clients and what's going on, and that just helps them be more engaged.
I think humanizing yourself and your business a little bit can always help.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on, I guess, the size of business or company you're doing. I mean, but in my industry, when you're working directly with families and you're ultimately trying to help them improve their lives directly, there's definitely a relationship element there. I'm not.
And what's similar, what's interesting, man, I don't know why this is just dawning on me now, is we are in very similar industries. There's just a difference in sort of the immediacy of the result, right? I mean, you're in wealth creation, preservation, right? Same here. Yours is more, over time. Ours is more immediate. And so in certain ways, and I think being remote, maybe we do a whole session on remote work, but I do think being remote has certainly changed how we all manage those relationships. I know for me it has. I don't know about for you. I know you used to travel. I think you used to travel quite a bit. As did I guess. But being on WhatsApp or Instagram, I have some clients that just Instagram chat. And it might not be the ones you think. It might not be the 25-year-old. It might be the 45-year-old dad, who's on Instagram looking at competitor ads and how to pitch better for Little League or something. So yeah, I think it's interesting, man, how the customer relationship, it's certainly critical. I believe it's the part of the product itself and service. I don't know what you think on that, but I'm a very strong proponent of we're in service businesses, but the customer experience is absolutely part of what we're providing as a product to people.
For sure. It has to be, you have to create a great experience for the customer in the long run. And ultimately, I think good experience for the customer, a good experience for the employee, it makes your business more referable, more enjoyable, more a place where people want to work. I mean, it's all
just to line it up, guys. I'm not boozing it up here. This is Earth Cafe in Las Vegas, iced coffee. So no worries. Don't.
I thought for a second I thought it was a tall glass of Guinness or something.
We don't want to get all the hate on Twitter and LinkedIn after this, I'm sure.
We don't. We definitely don't want to get that. So, okay. So yeah, what, talk to me. What are we in Vegas for right now? I mean,
well, I'll tell you what, and I have a podcast. I've actually recorded 2 of them. I think I'm going to do a 3rd. Years ago, my buddy and I used to come out to Vegas when we lived on the West Coast, right? Very short trip, 40-minute flight. And we would stay here at Wynn and Encore. And this isn't a sort of a plug or anything, but we didn't have a lot of money, either of us back then. So we did this on credit card points and 5 a.m. flights. And it was a very aspirational trip. But I enjoy coming here because 2 things, and this is how I thought of the topic when I pinged you, is 1, the customer experience is phenomenal. We can chat about that in a bit. But this is part of what we talked about a couple of weeks ago for me, of just recharging and reset. It's very relaxing. I'm not going to be raging. Some of my clients are tempting me. My clients are like, "Come on, go party." I said, no way I'm texting you from Encore Beach Club. It's not going to happen. So it's a reset, and I think lots of good food, some sunshine, the pool. But what's always fascinating about coming to Las Vegas, and I know in New York people used to go to Times Square, but you can come here and you can see so many brands, so many businesses, and really learn. It just like gets you going. I mean, for me in marketing, it really just amps me up and recharges the batteries and gives me a lot of ideas, tons of ideas coming out of these trips. So I'm fortunate now to come out here, and it'll be a great couple days.
Yeah,
And I'll look nice and tan like you, brother. I'm like pasty Casper the Ghost over here.
I thought maybe you were going to do Founder Jam from the Bellagio or something, but
well, look. So I don't know if you let everyone know. We just got to the hotel. I've been traveling for about 10 hours, and so the line to check in was so long. So we literally just grabbed a cafe table here. I don't know if we can spin the camera around. Probably. I think we have good reception. So here's world famous Earth Cafe.
Nice.
Down this way, you have Soul Cycle, right? It's awesome killer brands. Here's a Made in USA Aviator Nation. Big fan. But this is about recharge and reset rather than party it up too much,
Nice. I love
but
the
when
recharge and reset.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'll plug it again. We're going to do the podcast, but I have a whole thing about the customer experience at Wynn hotels and at luxury hotels like this. Like if you go to a Ritz-Carlton, if you go to a Fairmont, and you understand, you see how they prioritize the experience, not necessarily just the customer, but the whole experience. It's very impressive. Very impressive what they do.
Awesome. So would it be safe to say to jump to question number 2?
Let's do it.
And ask, do you or the Wynn Hotels have specific plans for customer experience?
Yeah, I think I'll keep it brief here. I've been rambling a little, but when we started Jono Marketing, we knew we would be competing against very, very good talent, execution-wise. So, big brains, ballers in the advertising space. So we knew that, and we had to figure out how we're going to differentiate. And one area of differentiation that is admittedly challenging, time-consuming, I would say it's more energy-consuming, but it is a fun way of working, is around how we engage with customers and that experience that we provide to them. So if you had to say to us, like, look, tons of people buy Facebook ads, Google ads, tens of thousands. But how we engage with our customers is absolutely paramount for us, right up there with performance. Obviously, performance is P1. The experience is a very close, like, P1A.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's for our industry, it's really interesting because I think for many years and since the 80s, there was a lot of focus on investment performance, and that's still very, very, very important. But as investing becomes more gamified, commodified, and it becomes something that's robotic, if you will, I think there's less of a focus on specific performance, especially when you talk about passive investors. It's get what the market will give you. Invest based on your risk tolerance, not necessarily your knowledge on specific industry, sector, or company. And what's becoming more valuable now is the behavioral side of finance and helping people walk that line and understand what their purpose is, what they're doing with their investments, with their money, with their job, with their life, with their charitable giving. And it's become less about specific metrics and performance and more about the feel. Or do they feel fulfilled in what they're doing? Do they feel that they're being a good steward of the resources that they either earn or have inherited, been provided? And so it's really interesting. So the customer experience is a lot deeper, I think, than it used to be in our industry. So now,
how do you differentiate, Bobby?
Well,
like, how do you and Stacy differentiate in this market? Because again, it's so similar, right? Like, even I always say the pizzeria on the corner. I mean, that's just in my head, but even they have to differentiate somehow, right? Like every business is competitive. How do you guys do it?
Well, I think it's by asking specific questions. And I think, well, first of all, I think our potential partners self-select, first of all. So, and I just as I lost connection to my camera for some reason. But we our people self-select. And so the people that we want to work with, they want to hear the questions. They want to hear the right questions. And so it enables us to find what does actually mean the most to them. And if it really is strictly investment performance or the amount of taxes they're going to pay, then that's usually not a good fit. And they don't end up becoming a partner with us anyway. So I think the way we differentiate is actually on the front end. And if someone aligns well with what
That's fascinating.
most, that's how we differentiate ourselves. If someone comes to us and says, we've worked really hard for much of our life, our family has X amount of dollars, or has this business, we have something that we've worked really, really hard on, and we really don't want the next generation to blow it, or we want this specific cause or this purpose to be a focus for our family, and we can help them identify that and help them find fulfillment in their life. That's how we differentiate ourselves. We're not the firm that's going to say, hey, we're going to get you 5% guaranteed on your accounts and you'll be happy and you'll be able to live the rest of your life financially free. We don't use language like that.
Very interesting. That's a great learning, I think, for our listeners to incorporate that into whatever business, but asking the right questions, framing the customer experience so that you know that you're aligned with them from the beginning, so that it's a good fit for both parties. And I think that's important. I think especially for growing businesses who want to get as much business as possible, and there's something to be said for that. But getting the right business, I think the more seasoned salespeople will tell you is maybe even more important, right, than the volume of business.
Yeah, we're very niched. I mean, one of my favorite mentors and speakers in our industry, his name is Dennis Mosley Williams. He'll be on. He's coming on our podcast here shortly in the next couple of weeks or months, and he always talks about niche weird, and it's really more of a service discussion and customer experience discussion, but it really ultimately is a differentiator too, because he says don't just find a niche. Find the niche within the niche and then the weirdest people that you align with. And it's a strange concept, but it really is.
That's what I did when I called you for Founder Jam. I was like, let's just find other weird people like me, Bob DiPasquale.
Exactly. But that's what it's about, man. Like it's ultimately about aligning as much as possible with those people that you just automatically stick out. If you try, at least in my opinion, you try too hard to stick out, there's very few people that can be successful with that. Like maybe Madonna, who was a strange person, but it worked.
Right.
But anyone else who tried to be that strange, I don't think it would have worked, right? So for us, it's be ourselves and be super bold about who we are. It's not trying to stick out. It's just accentuating our uniqueness, and that's very attractive, and it shrinks your prospect pool per se, but it self-selects the people who are not a good fit completely out. You don't have to deal with them, and then the people who are perfect fit are all in, and then there's a handful of people that are that could go either way, but it makes it so much easier for both parties. So anyway.
That's awesome, man. As you're saying that, and I'm looking around at these iconic brands: Hermes, Rimowa, Aviator Nation, Celine. Every one of them has a specific identity that people know you shop with them because it makes you feel X, or because you relate to it, and it's very specific to your point. But I think that also adds to, you and I chatted about, like, the stickiness factor, right? So it's on the upfront where you're attracted to it, but it helps the brands on the retention side because the people are by default more interested in them and feel connected to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
By
very
default.
interesting.
By default's a great way to put it. So, all right,
Mhm.
let's hit up question number 3.
And I'll surprise you, I do have rapid fire questions.
You have
for you
rapid
this week.
fire. All right, we better get through question number 3 then.
Let's
Is
do
there
it. Let's do
continuous
it.
review and action on customers' feedback? You kind of alluded to this earlier.
Yes. So this is actually, look, this is something that we're rolling out in a more formalized way. And we did a big session with an industry leader in the legal industry on project management and customer experience. And I actually had her text me a 3-question survey that they use at these mega law firms. Mega. We are talking top 10 largest firms in the world. And so I can read you here some of the questions that that they use in their survey.
Okay.
And here they are. 1 second.
Oh, did we lose you, man? I think we lost Joseph because he's looking at something on his browser. Please tell me he comes back. I want to hear these questions. What kind of customer feedback questions do you ask? Super valuable stuff. Customer surveys.
We're there. Still there.
All right, we got
Still
you
there.
back.
Okay. Yeah, I think what's interesting is you're asking these questions in a positive tone. They're forward looking. They're empowering your clients and making them actually included in the process. So you're bridging this gap of client business, right? Client customer type of relationship. You're bridging that immediately, and you're also giving them a chance to communicate about things that they may not have otherwise mentioned, or you couldn't put in a 70-question survey.
Mhm.
You know, they may say something like X, Y, and Z. I will joke about it because we do a lot of work with startups who are trying to get funding. And I had a CEO, the gentleman he has a Wikipedia page. That's how big time he is out in Silicon Valley. And he called me one day and he said he really loves these hats. I mean, I had no idea. I bought these hats one time. I sent them out to some clients. The guy calls me and he's like, I really love those hats and I appreciate what you did by providing those. Like that was a really cool gesture. And my team and I thank you for that.
Mhm.
So these are the types of things where I would have never known. I never sent him a survey. It was good for him to share that feedback, right, about a hat. But for him, it was a little bit more than a hat, right? He understood it's a gesture, it's a relationship thing. But if you're including that type of question in surveys,
Mhm.
you can get that feedback much faster, right? In like this third open-ended question.
So when you talk about formalizing it, you're putting a survey together?
Yeah, so apparently, we know that there's, I've had friends that work at Qualtrics, things like that. I just did one pretty cool platform actually with Bloomingdale's. They sent me one yesterday via Credo, Credo. I've not used them before, but it was a pretty cool platform, pretty seamless. But it turns out Google has tools that through forms where you can create forms where your users can submit answers anonymously, and it goes right into the different form fields and captures all that data on the back end. And I think most of these tools are free through like a Google One subscription. That you're
Mhm.
storing like your Gmail and your gigabytes, your data storage on. So it's really fascinating. I think there's a lot of ways. It doesn't have to be super sophisticated. Again, this is a mega law firm using these 3 simple questions to boil down, to streamline processes, and to get to the root of matters. So I think if these billion-dollar brands can do this, then companies like yours and I can do the same thing. Right?
Yeah, simple enough. And I think a lot of these survey, some companies survey monkey. I've seen
Yep,
those
that's
Google
another good one. Yeah.
forms. There's ones that I think it's the Google one I've seen. A lot of these indie podcasts use that for their inquiry forms. so
Very
people
cool.
can basically apply to be a guest, right? So
Gotcha.
there's a lot of ways to use that stuff. Cool, man. All right, we are through 3 questions, and you said you kind of have a rapid fire for me.
We're gonna make it Vegas themed. We're in Vegas, so
You're in
it's
Vegas.
time. It's time to rock and roll. Yes, yes. Me and apparently the rest of the universe have decided to show up in Vegas
Yes.
this week. If you're
So-
traveling out there, just so you know, Vegas is crowded.
So
Lots of people.
before we start rapid fire, I would just like to acknowledge that this is probably why we work well together on Founder Jam. You went to Vegas. I just spent 12 days in South Dakota. So
There's so much more to this analogy that we'll just leave on.
yeah, we'll just I mean, we'll just get to rapid fire. Put it that way.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. You caught me off guard. You caught me off guard with that one. Okay. All right. So again, being the good sport that I am, being the gentleman that I am, I will acknowledge that Bob DiPasquale is undefeated week over week in rapid fire. And I think you're like batting 750, man, and it's pretty bad. I mean, I'm 0 for, but I'm at like 20%, and you're at about 75%. So I'm hoping this week maybe we can close the gap a little. Are you ready?
All right. You're giving me a big head, but let's do it.
Okay. First question, Las Vegas themed, and we're gonna throw some bunch of variety of different stats. First question. Las Vegas, for the power grid, is divided into 2 sections about 4,000 square miles north and south. How many megawatts of energy are required to power the entirety of north and south combined? How many megawatts of energy? What is the capacity that is required?
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
What the heck is a megawatt?
So for our what would they call them? Repeat viewers, this may feel familiar to when Joe was being asked questions about insurance, annuities, and the financial trade industry. Oh wow, okay. And here's my similar response. It's rapid fire. It is what it is.
All right, fine. I will say this, since I'm working on getting solar power for the house, I've done some research on kilowatts.
Oh, okay.
But not megawatts. So
how many megawatts?
How many? The whole city? Oh gosh.
And the rules, you have to be within 10%, within 10% variance.
75,000.
So that's weird. That's like oddly close. It's 7,500. Every week, you are like eerily close to the answers.
I had
People
my
are
math wrong.
People aren't going to think that this is not scripted. They're going to think we planned this whole thing, but no, we don't. Okay.
I thought megawatts were 10 whatever that is, 10 times smaller than they actually are.
Yes. Okay, next question. 2019, right? So COVID last year, 2019. How many tourists visited Las Vegas in 2019?
Before COVID.
So pre-COVID, yeah. 2019.
50 million.
49.6 million.
Right here, baby.
I can't deal with this.
Right here.
I can't deal with this.
49.6
This is trippy, guys.
I mean, I was going to say 49.7, but I rounded up.
Oh man, you can't make this up. You can't. Okay, next
Unscripted, man.
two more questions. How many visitors to Las Vegas in 2019 were for conferences or conventions? So of the 49.6 million.
Ooh, that's a great one. I can go a lot of different directions on this one.
You could.
Do you want a
could.
percentage or a number?
A number, please.
A number, please. Okay.
In the millions.
Yes, 49.6 million. How many of them were for conferences? I'm gonna go 23 million.
Finally, you got one wrong. 6.6 million visitors.
Only 6.
For a convention.
Wow.
6.6.
Wow.
6.6.
I think a lot of the other ones thought they said they told their spouses they were going for a convention. That's what
just like I'm here. Just like I'm here for rest and relaxation.
Yes, I misunderstood the question.
Okay, final question. This is a good one. We're both foodies, you and I.
Yes.
How many restaurants are estimated to be in the city of Las Vegas?
Estimated. They can't get a.
I en route in bumper to bumper traffic from the airport in my Uber with limited cell service. I was not able to pull the official city records.
Okay.
So we kind of have a combo of Yelp, Wikipedia, and Google.
You should have definitely went to the city hall and pulled the record.
I'm sure it's on their website somewhere. I couldn't get to it.
Estimated restaurants.
In Las Vegas, not Clark County, but Las Vegas.
Yeah, just the city. Okay.
It's a big city, a lot of space. Not just the strip. It extends out. You have downtown, Fremont Street.
How about?
I mean, it's not life or death here, man. Just
I know. 12,000.
Ooh.
No.
Estimated 5,600.
I more than doubled it. Okay.
You were close. You don't get any credit for that. So 2 out of 4. We're closing the gap. This means I have a chance next week to get back in the game.
Yep.
And this week 500. This was your worst week yet. So looks like you've been slacking, man. Too much time in South Dakota. Not as sharp.
Next week I might bring some Sioux Falls questions.
Oh, I have a whole week to study now, man. Now that you let me know, bring it on.
Yeah, I'm giving you a heads up. You better get up on your Native American game.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
Cool, man.
You enjoy your rest and relaxation, and
always,
and your iced coffee there. And we will get back at you all next week with Founder Jam 21.
Let's do it. All right, we'll see you then. Everyone stay safe. Have a great week.
All right. See y'all.